We welcome back to the show this morning Craig Douglas for our Educating Mid-Michigan segment. This has been making headlines as of late. Orders from the Trump administration to make pretty severe cuts to the U.S. Department of Education, try to shrink it down. So many questions with this topic, so let's kind of dive in here. First off, kind of clarify, I know this was kind of framed as returning power to the states with education, but kind of clarify that. I mean, who sets the curriculum anyway for most local school districts?
Well, I'm a retired school superintendent, and for the most part, we set that curriculum with our Board of Education, our faculty and staff. So it's a local issue, except there are state expectations in terms of what the minimum curriculum must have. There are graduation requirements that students need to attain. And the federal government has expectations too, so it's kind of layered. That's the way I would describe it: local, state, and federal.
Yeah, so with that said, what is typically the traditional role then of the Department of Education with local schools?
Several layers. Oversight would be one label I would give it. So if there's any kind of dispute or complaint, the chain of command would take it to the federal level. For the Office of Civil Rights, for example, if there was a complaint, they would intervene. Also oversight in terms of funding. In my local school, we had to do a special audit of any federal funds that we had, independent of our other audit. And so that had to be submitted to the state, which was submitted to the federal government. So there's oversight. Then there's the funding piece, and I think that's the $64,000 question here, Matt. Will this disruption at the federal level, in terms of oversight, impact funding either positive or negatively? So there's a lot of uncertainty there. A lot of funding. I don't think I could name it all, but things like Head Start, Title I programs, which help support reading and math in high impoverished districts. Special education is huge. I can go on and on. So these layers of funding may be disruptive as well, or may not. That's what I'm trying to say we need to watch for.
Sure. So with that said, what are your initial impressions then of the potential shrinking of this department and its potential implications, as you mentioned, most importantly, with funding? What are school districts probably doing right now?
I think the reality is that this is happening. Yeah. So I think there's a ramp up of connections with state and local representatives. And I think for viewers, whether it's parents, grandparents, or any citizen, that connection with your local congressman and our two U.S. senators, I think, could be vital for having influence, voicing, expressing wishes, etc. So the governmental process is going to kick in. Congress, my understanding is Congress now needs to act on this recommendation. And I don't know if the votes are there or not. I'm not astute enough to know that. But I do know that voices matter, and this would be an opportunity to raise those voices.
And then again, just looking forward with education, I know it was kind of, this is a big change, so to speak, but what are your hopes moving forward?
I hope stability occurs. I think it will. I always believe there's an equilibrium that we'll achieve. But in the meantime, things are disrupted. I've used that word several times in our segment, but it is a disruptive thing. Maybe it's a positive thing, maybe it's not.
So we're waiting to see.
Yeah, it's not for me to judge that. Yeah. But I do think all of us as citizens need to engage, watch your station for updates, listen for reports in terms of what Congress is doing, etc.
Bottom line, be involved.
Be involved and informed.
Yeah, if you have any questions education-wise for our Educating Mid-Michigan segment, feel free to send us an email at goodmorning@abc12.com. Mr. Douglas, thank you so much.